Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes report. And for the past 24 hours, a lot of frontline changes, some massive big news coming out from the New York front. And I was contemplating whether to do a Kharkiv offensive update or the Frontline Changes report. But I think the big thing happening in New York is too hard to ignore. For me to just go into Kharkiv because the Russians have captured New York. So we'll cover that in a while in terms of the frontline changes. There is frontline changes over in the Kursk front at Kerenevo, Loknya, Rutskoye Pereshnoye, Mikhailovka, Martinovka, and Ruskaya Konopelka. These are the frontline changes over in the Kursk front. We have others in the New York front as Pivnichne, Zalizny, New York, and then in the Hordivka front we have changes in Hordivka and Paraskoviivka in the Donetsk front. So we go into the Kursk front. At the Kursk front, the Ukrainian forces has been geolocated in a massive column driving down this road, and this confirms that the Ukrainian forces have actually captured at least this area here. So the Ukrainian forces are pushing in this area. There is an ambulance that was geolocated to be hit, not ambulance, but a vehicle that was evacuating Ukrainian forces was hit over this location. So Ukrainian forces was geolocated along this part of the road, getting destroyed by very accurate guided bomb strikes. So it's very interesting that the Russians are able to strike moving targets with guided bombs from their aircrafts. So there's massive losses on the Ukrainian side as they try to break through from this area, because if they are able to break through into the rear position, they would probably create more problems, especially if they entrench themselves in this area in the northern part of Kerenevo, blocking reinforcement to the Russian forces. But I think the operation may not have succeeded. The Russian forces are still holding Kerenevo very strongly. So this is the frontline change over in the Kerenevo region. So the next frontline change is over at Malaya Loknya. So at Malaya Loknya, Ukrainian forces are attacking the Russian forces that is defending Malaya Loknya, and allegedly a Marder infantry fighting vehicle was firing at Russian forces at the edge of this settlement. So Ukrainians are attacking Malaya Loknya, but in the process, this confirms Russian presence around most of Malaya Loknya, confirming that the Russian forces have actually secured or captured this entire region. This also confirms Russian presence in Mykolaievka, as well as the rear village of Staraya Soroshchina. Or Starachina. So this is the current situation with the Russian forces actually have a strong position, almost like a fortress in this area here. However, Ukrainian forces do have control over at Viktorovka. So we shall continue to monitor the situation around here as the Ukrainians try to break through this area. This area is very concerning for the Ukrainians because it's very forward position for the Russians. And this also, if in the Russian mapping, I just want to highlight is that this entire area here in the Russian mapping is under Russian control. However, I personally do not think that's the case. So we mapped it differently from the Russian mapping because we have previous geolocations to confirm Ukrainian presence in those regions. Over in the north of Rutskoye Pereshnoye, this is covered during the Frontline Changes report. Ukrainian forces geolocated in the north of Rutskoye Pereshnoye, confirming Ukrainian attack in the north as they try to do a flanking movement in the north, probably towards the rear position of Rutskoye Pereshnoye, where the Russians are having a strong position. However, this geolocation is a geolocation of airstrike on Ukrainian forces. As usual, I just want to highlight, geolocation is not a good thing. When you are geolocated, usually it's because you got destroyed or you got killed off. So very seldom we have geolocations that shows that, they're perfectly fine and happy, unless they're waving the flag. Otherwise, usually geolocation is them dying. So don't be too happy about Ukrainians going so far to the rear position, because sometimes, or similarly for the Russians, because these are all usually bad news, that someone have died. So this is just something to note of. But this flanking movement is good. Of course, this airstrike doesn't necessarily mean that the Ukrainians, the entire force was totally destroyed. The Ukrainians could have infantry swarming into the countryside. It is still possible to complete this flanking movement. In the south of this position, over in the Sudzha sector, Ukrainian forces also tried to flank north from the Mykolaiivka region, as they are geolocated just off Maitinovka. This somewhat confirms at least that there's a possibility that the Ukrainians indeed have fully captured Martinovka. We haven't fully confirmed this yet. We did draw the Ukrainian mapping accordingly, but we haven't fully confirmed this. But this could mean that the Ukrainians are trying to go past all these heavy defensive settlements where the Russians are holding their defense. They are trying to blow them out of the water from the rear position. Ukrainian forces attack Ruskaya Konopelka, and the Russian forces basically ambush them inside the settlement, and there seems to be quite some kind of a calamity over there. So this mapping, this arrow here is just going to be a Ukrainian presence. It's like a overlapping mapping between the Russian and the Ukrainian map, because that is a failed offensive, and it really looks very bad. So we'll have to hold back in terms of confirming this as a capture. It wouldn't be correct, I feel. But anyway, we'll continue to monitor. Who knows, the Ukrainians is going to appear, walking around Ruskaya Konopelka and then claiming capture. That is also a possibility. So this is a situation over the Sudzha sector. After Ruskaya Konopelka, we go all the way to the New York front, over in Pivnichne. At Pivnichne, Russian forces has been geolocated far away from the front line. We are talking about the distance of almost a kilometer, 800 meters away from the previous drawn line, and which means that Russian forces have taken most of Pivnichne right now. And this is also corroborated by Russian mapping. They mapped it exactly the same as DPA's mapping. Another geolocation close to Toretsk, close to Toretsk high-rise building zone, where the Russian forces seems to have expanded a little bit of the control around here. There's a high chance that the Russian forces may have taken the rest of Pivnichne. We will confirm this later. There is no information about this high ground or this castle. No, I call it the castle in the region of Pivnichne, whether it's under Russian control or not. So we just have to wait for more information and see how this goes. Russian forces continue to hold a line just off the high-rise building zone. So we see when the Russians are ready to storm into Toretsk itself. So that's all from the Pivnichne region. And then over at the Zalizny region, Russian forces seems to have started their push towards Toretsk with geolocation of Russian forces near the cemetery. This means that the Russians are pushing from Zalizny, and they're going to start off an attack from this southern part, or rather southeastern direction. And this would confirm what I was saying just now, that the Russians are waiting. They are waiting at this location on the eastern part, and now they are pushing from the southeast, and this will allow them to attack Toretsk from two different directions. And previously, Russians have a pretty forward positions in the south. I believe this will be the third factor of attack, and so this three-pronged attack would more go in line with how the Russians do their offensive operations. And from Pivnichne, they can also push north towards Kursk and then push into Toretsk and then create a fourth factor of attack. So if this happened, then I think the Russians will push very hard into Toretsk. But without this, they will not go into a frontal attack. I don't think so. Toretsk is a very big city. So we shall see how this goes. So over at the New York region, New York Nelipivka region, Ukrainian mapping have acknowledged Russian forces have taken this area. 100% clearly they are holding back information. This don't make sense at all. It just don't make sense at all. But the Russian mapping have confirmed that they have captured New York and the entire northwestern outskirt of New York. The Russian Defense Ministry have declared this capture, and there is already a video of the Russians on top of, I believe, an industrial building, raising the flag, the Russian flag. And this is the fall. And for me, because analytically speaking, there is no way the Ukrainians are in New York anymore. Everyone must have been redrawn. There shouldn't be any more fighting. Fighting should be in Nelipivka right now. So DPA will declare as New York captured by the Russian forces, regardless what Deep State UA try to map. Because in terms of the New York situation, I think they are compromised. In terms of objectivity, I don't believe they are honest about the situation in New York, because they need to keep up and match the situation that's happening over in the Kursk offensive in order to control the PR situation as they are doing fundraising. Because they are doing fundraising, they are not going to put up too much bad news, which is why, I do not trust their judgment on terms of all their reporting to be objective at this moment. In terms of the mapping, it should look something like this, with the entirety of New York fully captured by the Russian forces, and they should have overrun the industrial building going to the outskirts, the northwestern outskirts of New York, as well as taken everything, all the defensive position over on the eastern part of the New York defensive line. And the fighting is now definitely over in the Nelipivka region, with the Russian forces conducting a pincer on Nelipivka. And this is, as I mentioned before, unholdable. The Ukrainian forces is likely to withdraw. This is the frontline change over in the New York City region. We will have the corroboration from the Ukrainian side sooner or later, within the next few days. I don't think it will be tomorrow, unless there is geolocation that they cannot deny. I don't think they will report tomorrow. I think they'll hold back at least another 3 days, because they need some big success over the Kursk offensive in order to cover up. However, the videos that are coming out from the Kursk offensive look like shit, because they are all Ukrainian forces ending in ambushes or ending in massive airstrikes. These are not good for the visuals, so I think they were just going to wait for a bit more. And this is going to be disastrous, as they're going to push Ukrainian forces to do more daring raids, or they may try to start the offensive over the what is that place called? Glushkovo. They may start the Glushkovo offensive as they may want to conquer this entire area, and that will 100% cover up any losses in New York. So we just have to continue to wait and see how this develop. And then the next frontline change after New York is over at Hordivka. At Hordivka, Russian forces has been geolocated in our previous exactly where the front line was. So this expands the control a little bit, and this is also corroborated by the Deep State UA's mapping around this area. The progress has been slow. I think the Russians are just waiting for a new vector of attack to develop, similar to the situation over for Toretsk. But this is a much smaller city. This is just a town. And after Hordivka, the last frontline change is over at Paraskoviivka, and there is some major development over at Paraskoviivka. In case you are lost, just now we were here, so now we are here. So at Paraskoviivka, Russian forces have been for the first time geolocated in the Dacha region, northeast of Konstantinivka. In the region of Paraskoviivka, the Russian forces finally broke through the river, and they have taken there's this valley or river, small little river around here. They finally broke through, and this confirms the Russians full control over Paraskoviivka. I'm not sure this Dacha is part of Konstantinivka or Paraskoviivka, but I feel like with this we basically confirm the Russians have captured Paraskoviivka. In fact, I should put this as a confirmation. So wrong icon. So Russian forces captured Paraskoviivka. So this is not declared by anyone yet, in the sense that there is previous declaration by Ryba and the Russian Defense Ministry about the capture. One is on the 10th of June, another one is on the 28th of June. We are now in August, and this is the first time I see Russian forces breaking through the river. So this is only now I can really declare Paraskoviivka under full Russian control. So this is now confirmation that the Russians have captured Paraskoviivka. So I think that's it. These are all the frontline changes over the past 24 hours in the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. If you watch to this point, clearly you like the reports. Do press the subscribe button. If you are not subscribed, press the like button. And also, I will think about doing the Kharkiv front detailed report, detailed updates later. We'll just let this video have some runtime, to gain the views and whatnot. Algo problem, and also check out the situation report probably 8 hours from now. Similarly, airtime problem. I'll see you guys in the next update.